Hello. About 4 months ago, I made the last of my cryptic performance videos, and then I suddenly stopped, and there were no more videos being made, even though, based on the numbering of those, there should have been at least 3 or 2, a couple more at least. What was going on? Well, let me tell you what happened. First of all, just before I could finish all those videos I had planned originally, those performances, those little show tunes, somebody posted a list of all the haunted houses, scare zones, and shows and information about the upcoming event of Halloween Horror Nights 25 on a fan site, which then got repeated and posted all over all the other sites and Facebook groups and everywhere else. And as things began to be revealed officially as time went on, so far it's proven to be pretty accurate, with one major exception, something that seems to have been changed at the last minute, dare I say purged at the last minute, but you've probably heard about that as well. And so yes, when I saw that, I realized, well, the whole cryptic thing has gotten rather redundant. What's the point of putting out some sort of clue if the actual information is now out in the open anyway? It kind of ruined it for me. But at the same time, I've began to think about what I had been doing. And you know, it began to occur to me that the whole cryptic thing may have had negative repercussions. There have been some people who have pointed out to me over the years, particularly one particularly harsh critic who has pointed out that I tend to post stuff in the off-season, and that gets everyone stirred up, especially younger people, and sometimes a lot of silliness happens on the websites and on the forums that gets way out of hand, and I'm kind of responsible for that in a way, which how much I'm actually responsible I don't know, but at the same time, valid point taken, and I am not someone who cannot take good criticism, even when they're sometimes a bit rude about it. But it was a valid point, and I thought about that and said, you know, he has a point. There's some truth to that, maybe a lot more than I would care to admit. Indeed, very recently, I discovered a young man had posted all sorts of silliness on those forums because he wanted to be a cool kid who had inside information, and he made a lot of stuff up. And I thought, well, you know, he's kind of following my example. He wants people to think he is cool, and that because I've sort of created an environment where people might think they want to be cool, they have to do that sort of thing, and that's not necessary. And I felt a bit responsible for the negative repercussions when he got caught out and called to task for it. And so I do feel a bit responsible for some of that sort of silliness, and that's another good reason for me to stop the whole cryptic thing altogether. And there's some personal things, a bit more selfish reasons, because the more I thought about it, the more I began to realize is, gee, I really kind of miss the old days when I was able to speculate about what was going to happen, when I didn't have any clue except for what was posted originally on the websites, you know, the slow, tantalizing reveals on the websites the way they used to do. They don't do that so much anymore, but the whole ability to speculate, you know, if you've been given the info in advance, you can't really speculate anymore. And to be able to play the guessing games and to wait until Christmas to open the presents instead of already knowing what's in the box ahead of time. That's the metaphor that I used. Or is it a simile? No, I think it's a metaphor. Yeah. So that was the thing. I thought, yeah, I don't want to have to know what's in the boxes before Christmas morning anymore. So yeah, I said, I'm going to give up the cryptic thing altogether. And so I did. And I asked all of the nice sources out there whether you want to believe I have them or not, that they should just keep it to themselves, and I'll just speculate with the rest and enjoy the fun of trying to see what was going to happen, not knowing, but to wait and see for when the reveals come. That's what I intended, you see. However, that doesn't mean I'm done posting these lovely videos for you, of course. I'm still going to be continuing my series on the history of Horror Nights, and I think I'm way overdue to continue that, and I'm sure many of you are anticipating more videos about the history of Halloween Horror Nights 19, ripped from the silver screen, to finish those up and move on to those from, you know, HHN 20, and 21 and 22 and 23 and 24, and eventually 25 when that too becomes history, if any of us are still alive at that point. Hopefully we'll be around for 26, 27 and 28, 29, even 30. Oh my, that'll be a fun year, wouldn't it? All sorts of wonders. All of that was yes, and so I'll be continuing all of those. And yes, when the calendar rolls around to next April, you can expect on the first day of that month, April 1st, 2016, a rather silly video from me. It might not be quite like the ones I've done in the past, but it will still be, well, damn silly, as one expects for a video posted on that day of the year. And I also, of course, will probably continue to post to tell people who have figured things out that they did it, and congratulate them, because even though I'm not doing any more Cryptic, that doesn't mean the ones that I did earlier this year, they were out there, and therefore those who have guessed correctly deserve their recognition. And so far there have been, I think, 4 actual houses revealed for the event, so let's go through those right now. Freddy vs. Jason was the first house revealed, and the person who figured out that the song Bosom Buddies from the Broadway musical Mame referred to Freddy vs. Jason was a fellow named Jeff Blackman over at HHN Horror Night Nightmares. He's called Legacy. Of course, he's a bit of a smug SOB, but and someone pointed that out, and you know what, you're right, but nevertheless he got that right, so credit is where credit goes for him. Now the second reveal was, of course, I believe, Insidious, and the person who first figured out Insidious, which was pardon me, which was the song I Am What I Am from the Broadway musical La Cage aux Folles. They figured that one out, and Insidious, the person figured out this person, I don't know who it is by name, but they post on Horror Night Nightmares under the user ID Styrofoam Cup. So they're the first ones who've got that. Now, the third reveal was The Walking Dead, yet again. The Walking Dead, for that one, the correct clue was the song You'll Never Walk Alone by the Broadway musical Carousel. Now, in that case, it was Mystic Freak, aka Heather Quackenbush, who first guessed that correctly, but she didn't know all the reasons why. And it was a bright young man from Manchester, England, Neil Hodgkinson, who sometimes uses the alias HHN UK, who figured out exactly why that song matched the Walking Dead in things involving the Storm in the 5th series, and of course David Morrissey being a Liverpool fan, and the whole thing about Liverpool using that theme song. He probably figured it all out because he himself is a Manchester United fan, as I am, note the colour, but not a great fan of Liverpool in any way whatsoever, who is, and neither am I for that matter, but the song, of course, puts him on edge when he hears it, and of course immediately thinks of Liverpool, and he realised what the clue was getting at. David Morrissey, who played the governor, was of course a huge Liverpool fan and is a Scouser himself. Therefore, that's where that all came from. Going to the fourth reveal, of course, was the Purge. And there was no song for the Purge because, like everyone else, I had thought it would be the Scream. Indeed, when I say like everyone else, I include all the nice people at Art and Design who intended it to be the Scream. Not the Scream, but Scream, who intended that from the get-go, and it was only really just about a week ago or so, a little more than so, that all kind of went bye-bye, and they had to do the Purge instead. Therefore, yes, indeed, there was no song for the Purge. The song in question, Ice Cream, from the Broadway musical She Loves Me, referenced Scream, as in I scream. Oh, bad puns. But anyway, that's really what that was all about. And it was, in fact, a fellow who posts at Horror Night Nightmares under the name of Dead Inside, who first figured out the really bad pun and got that. So even though Scream isn't happening and probably never will now because the Weinsteins are wankers about all of the wanting the TV show instead of the movie and causing all sorts of trouble. Basically, that was sort of the... So we have 3 sharp cookies and 1 honourable mention, I suppose. If you eat too many sharp cookies and too much ice cream, then you have to purge. Oh dear. So that's what that was all about. And when more things get revealed, probably in the next week or so, because it's getting late in August already. We've only got about a week of August left, and I imagine it will all be revealed next week. I'll probably make another video, like I said, giving up the remaining sharp cookies to everybody else. There you go. So, I'm not done making videos. In fact, I may even continue to sing a few happy songs for you. Once in a while, some shout tunes or other numbers, which would not be cryptic at all. It's just songs that I want to sing for whatever daft reason, maybe because I'm a big ham. So with all of that in question, or in mind, that is why I'm not going to do the cryptic thing anymore. By that I mean not just this year, but ever. So no more cryptic, but still a lot more videos as I continue covering the history of the event, making silly jokes, and making any other sort of video that might, I hope, interest you. And the cat will probably show up sometimes as well. And that's all for right now, although I think it might be very soon that I may sing a little song for you after all.